You know, I have to tell you, it is the strangest feeling of being confident you're going to deliver a message without knowing what that message is. You know, I know I'm going to deliver it, but I don't know what it is. And it's strange to have confidence like that. But I do know one thing. I know the name of it. And I said we were going to get to it, and we are. And the name of it is forgiveness. You know, although I think it should be named unforgiveness. You know, unforgiveness. The immovable mountain that so many of us, me included, carry around in our hearts that we can't seem to be able to move. You know, it's all those knives sticking in our back that we refuse to pull out because we want to martyr ourselves and look what was done to me. You know, the excuse that we use to be mean to people or you know, to do the things that we want to do because we can always point and say, oh, well, look what they did to me. Even if you're only telling it to yourself, it enables you to kind of, you know, walk a little closer to that edge than you know you should, you know, because you go, oh, well, how about me? You know, it's my turn. You know, unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is like you taking the responsibility to hold a debt that will never be paid over someone else's head forever. You're going to expend the energy to hold that debt over their head, even though it's never going to be paid. You know, it's that unforgiveness. It's that taking a bite of that poison apple, you know, and waiting for the other person to die. You know, it's you reliving the event over and over and over, and getting angrier and angrier and angrier, and the event becomes bigger and harsher in your memory than it ever really was in reality. You know, now, sure, there's things that happen. There's things that people did to me, to you, to us that were bad. They were bad things. Some of them were done by bad people. You know, some of them were done by not bad people, but mistakes. You know, maybe they were sick emotionally. You know, maybe they have problems. Maybe they were angry. Maybe they lost control. You know, or maybe the person they're just bad. They're mean all the time. You know, they got that black heart, that black spirit. Well, not in spirit. Let's leave that. They got that black heart. Let's hope they don't have a black spirit. And so, remember I told you, we're going to get to blame. Why does God let that happen? You know, and I'm going to make a feeble attempt to try to explain to you what God revealed to me. Why bad things happen to good people. Oh, I can't do it in this segment. I can't. It's too deep. It's too much. But why does he let this happen? Why does he let that happen? Because of his divine purpose, his divine perfection. It allows the extreme to the top. Let me put it this way. A mountain would only be half as high as it is if it weren't for the depths of the valley. You know, the higher, the lower the low, it enables the higher the high. So, you know, our greatest feats of victory are multiplied by the depth of our defeat. You know, it's only because of the depths of our defeat, the depths of our pain, the depths of our agony that raises up these heights of victory so high. I mean, the runner who's running across the ribbon, he's winning the race, and he's got his arms up in the air. It's that much higher of a feeling when you compare it to hitting the dirt and sliding on his face because he tripped and he fell. It's our failures that make our victories so sweet. And so if bad things only happen to bad people, then that means we are going to give the bad people this range of emotion that we'll never have. We'll never know this range of emotion because only good things happen to us, and it'll only mean half as much. So, I mean, to make bad things happen to only bad people would actually raise them above us. They would have feelings higher than us, greater than us. And so it's got to happen to everybody. You know, the rain's got to fall on the good and the bad. And you know, God gave people the free will to be bad also, because that's to His purpose. He needs people to be bad to achieve His purpose. And you know, we're going to go deeper into that. I would love to go really, really deep into this good and evil thing, but that's not the topic today. The topic today is unforgiveness. But I'm trying to let you know that, you know, God didn't do this to you. You know, there's some forgiving that we have to do. One, you're going to be sitting there thinking, well, you know, a lot of us go through life thinking that we need to forgive God. We're angry at God for what He let happen to us, for what situation He put us in, where we were born into. And you know, hopefully one day you'll come to the realization that God didn't do it to you. You know, He allowed it to happen because He needs everything that happens to happen. One of these days we'll get into the absolute law and the absolute necessity of every single thing that's here. Not one thing can be missing to achieve His perfection, His purpose, His divine purpose and perfection. But there's a long forgiveness list, and you know, and we are at the top of that list to forgive ourselves for all the things that we did, all the things that we did to ourselves, you know, trying to hurt someone else, and forgiving other people. And, you know, I could go on and on and on about that, but I really want to get into the mechanics of forgiveness, because I know there's a lot of people sitting there, oh, man, every time I think about that person, my ears get hot, you know, and I get angry, and I don't want to be angry, but I don't know how to let it go. And I want to get into the mechanics of that, of forgiveness and letting go. It's a process that you go through. And you're basically going to talk yourself into letting go. You're going to say this person's name, and you're going to say, you know, I forgive this person, whatever the person's name is. You know, let's just Joe. You know, Joe, you know, I forgive you for doing this. I release you of your debt to me. You know, I release you of the responsibility to apologize or to pay me back for that. And the reason you're going to release them is to release your own heart. You have to release your own heart from this, because this affects who you are. And so you want to release them of that debt, free your heart, you know, and say their name and forgive them. And you say, well, how do I forgive them? Because you absolve that debt. You relieve them of that debt, of the responsibility of that debt, and you let it go, and you make an agreement to yourself that it will never be thought of again. That once the debt is released, you'll never bring it back up. You got to make these covenants with yourself, and forgiving yourself and forgiving these other people. You know, if we go to the Word, if we go to God, He made the ultimate sacrifice. You know, He sent His Son to pay with His life for your sins, for your wrongs, and for other people's wrongs. So the debt has been paid. Don't think it hasn't been paid. So, I mean, you're releasing a debt that's already been paid. And you know, and I would say to you that if God can forgive you, then who are you not to forgive yourself? You know, forgive yourself for making these mistakes. Forgive yourself for holding on to this unforgiveness. You know, release your heart of that debt. Release the energy expended to hold this unpaid debt over someone's head forever. You know, pull those knives out of your back that leads you to martyrdom and to misery. You know, forgiveness is where prayer comes in, because you're going to need help. You're going to need help to do things that you cannot do. And once you show that honesty and that willingness to God to release these debts, these things you need to forgive, then He will help you do it. You know, that's where He's going to come in. That's where that magic's going to happen, like I told you. You know, you're going to take things to Him that you can't do yourself. You know, I know that a lot of people will give you the mechanics of forgiveness, and they will tell you, well, you really need to pray for this person. You need to forgive this person, and you need to pray for this person, and you need to pray good things for this person. And let me go one step further of what they won't tell you, of something that I experienced that I found to be true. Because I know when you say pray for that person, I hate that person's guts. You know, I'm not praying for that person. I can't pray. There's no way that I could pray for them and mean it. Guess what? you don't have to. You're like, what? That's right. You can pray for them, and it doesn't matter if you don't mean it. Well, of course, because you know what? You're not going to mean it. When you first start praying for them, you're not going to mean it. So, of course, it doesn't matter whether you mean it or not. You're going to say, grant this person the same peace, serenity, and happiness that I wish for myself. And wish good things on this person. But if you continue to do it, keep down that path, you'll find that all of a sudden you start feeling some kind of release. That every time you do it, you feel something letting go. And after a time, you'll start to realize that you actually mean. When you get there, you'll be at the top of the mountain of forgiveness. You'll have let it go, and you're the one that's going to get the peace.